So today we are reacting to why music doesn't feel exciting anymore. Now I'm not gonna lie, hip hop is dying. I haven't heard a hip hop song that was good in a cool little minute now. All I listen to, well, besides YB and fucking Juice World, that's about it. I listen to more pop music now. That's tough.
I don't know about you guys, but lately music hasn't felt as exciting as it used to. And I think that
Oh
the
God,
numbers
it
back this
hasn't.
feeling up too. Billboard had to change their rules to pull songs from the Hot 100 if they've been on there too long, with NPR saying streaming services use algorithms that feed people songs they've already played. And that creates a doom loop that's allowed recent songs to stay on the charts for absurdly long runs. Which to me would make sense, because hit songs we all collectively enjoy feel few and far between these days. And I think there's a few main reasons for that. Now, I'm not one of those people who's saying that all modern music is bad or anything like that, or that they don't make good music anymore. There is a ton of great music coming out every single day. But what I'm saying is, it feels like the mainstream music, the most popular upper echelon music, just isn't as fun and collectively enjoyed as it used to be. Let's do a little experiment. Let's check out the Billboard Hot 100 in 2010 and in 2020. In 2010, we have TikTok by Kesha, Hey Soul Sister by Train, California Girls by Katy Perry, Airplanes by B.O.B.
God damn, they was talking about TikTok before it was even invented, my nigga. That's stuff.
Of the Way You Lie, Bad Romance, Dynamite, and many more songs that I'd imagine we all know and enjoy. Pop songs that are fun to dance to, fun to sing along to, fun to play with your friends, and things like that. And then in 2020, we have Blinding Lights by The Weeknd, Circles by Post Malone, The Box by Roddy Ricch, Rockstar by DaBaby, Life is Good, Memories, Say So, and more. I do like The Box, but it just feels like the ones from the 2010s are way more classic. The songs from the 2010s feel like they're more fun, they aged better, and we all enjoyed them more collectively. Let's try again though, looking at 2015 and 2020.
Music that came out back in the 2010s now, and back in the early 2000s now. Like, I don't listen to too much new shit.
In 2015, we had Uptown Funk, See You Again, Trap Queen, Sugar.
What the fuck? Oh, okay.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is Base 40.
Blank Space, Watch Me, The Hills, Can't Feel My Face, Bad Blood. I mean, come on. How is 2025 gonna compete? Well, 2025's year-end list isn't out yet, but there hasn't been much change anyway, so let's take a look at 2024, which featured a bar song, Beautiful Things, I Had Some Help, Not Like Us, Espresso, $1 Million Baby, and more. Again, I could be alone in this feeling, but I feel like the songs from 2015 are just miles better. I mean, what on that list I just named comes even close to Trap Queen? Name one. There's nothing. Those again are songs that you can sing with your friends or dance to. It felt like we all as a society collectively enjoyed these songs more. And to me, it just feels like that overarching feeling is gone. And it's hard to describe. Well, I don't think it's just me.
A pretty excellent selection of songs in this top 10. I'm genuinely optimistic about pop music these days.
What the f happened? Now, this is completely my opinion, but I feel like, in general, modern popular music, at least these last few years, isn't that exciting anymore. Of course, there are bangers we all like here and there, and the independent, alternative, indie, and underground scenes are full of more talent than ever before, but the mainstream is suffering. And I think there are a few reasons as to why this could be. One reason could be today's terrible economy and wealth inequality. I mean, I'm spending $60 at the grocery store for some eggs, chicken, and yogurt. It's crazy. And one tool that can help you with this is Current. Current is a top two paid up to inch. As overdraft fees to make features, I need to give an objective fact that pop music is getting simplified. For example, melodies in pop music have gotten a lot simpler over time, according to studies. A study looked at the top 5 Billboard songs in pop music.
And this is simplified, my nigga. Gotten simpler over time. What the hell? I don't even know what the hell I'm looking at.
Gotten a lot simpler over time, according to studies.
And I play the piano. I just haven't learned how to fucking read the music yet. Let me get to the point where I'm learning how to read music, gang.
Looked at the top 5 Billboard songs from 1950 to 2023 and found that both rhythm and pitch became steadily less complex over that period. Conservatively, they have both decreased by 30%. This isn't inherently a bad thing, but it's just one of many studies that goes to show that pop music has been getting simpler. A study in 2012 showed that diversity of note combinations has consistently diminished in the last 50 years. Melodies are becoming more and more similar, and songs are relying on a smaller range of timbres than before. And I think the biggest driver of this is the streaming era and record labels. First of all, think about platforms like Spotify or TikTok. When Spotify took off, their unique playlist system was the standard for finding new music. To make it to the top Spotify playlist, your song has to work its way through the lower and mid-tier playlists first. And if your song is skipped a lot, it won't graduate, making it so artists might not be inclined to have a slow intro or too crazy of an intro. And when people are listening to playlists in the background, they don't want super crazy songs. So the focus isn't on giving people reasons to listen to your music, but avoiding giving them reasons to turn it off, which is why a lot of pop songs may feel a little bit more bland or less offensive than they may have in the past. In a similar way, the TikTok era of music has artists hyper-focused on a 10-second clip of their song, usually the chorus, hoping that one part goes viral, whereas the rest of the track may be a little boring or repetitive or just brushed off.
I hated TikTok for that. Like, bro, they've been ruining songs since it came out. All you see is niggas dancing. That's all I see on my For You page on TikTok. I'll be ready to hop off as soon as I get on. Scroll down 2 times, done for the day. Like, damn, it's time to go outside. This was
The reason pop music all sounds kind of simpler and similar is likely because of how easy it is to make music now. Objectively, I think that making music more accessible has been a huge net positive and it has led to way more innovation, but it can also cause a couple problems. I saw a YouTuber named Lachlan Frazier made a similar video on this topic and brought up a great point.
Talking about how the tape sound that everyone strives for and loves isn't actually the saturation or compression that you get from tape. Instead, the tape sound that everyone wants but doesn't quite realize they want is the imperfections.
5 minutes. That's all it took to match the output of an entire marketing team. I wanted something that could...
He hit with that one, I'm not gonna lie. The imperfection.
Tape was expensive and difficult to work with. You really needed to be good at what you were doing, and if you were considering doing a retake, you really had to think it over and decide, do I really want to redo this whole take and waste more tape? And because of that, older records tend to have more flaws. But now with digital recording, you can endlessly record takes and then comp out a perfect take, and then quantize it and run it through Melodyne and then stack 5 EQs and 30 other plugins on top of that.
We've perfected this.
That's crazy. Technology is just getting too good now.
Out of music is a great quote from that video. And I think this leaves people yearning for some sort of imperfection in music. For example, when the SoundCloud era popped off in the late 2010s, a lot of the draw to that genre was the artist utilizing distortion. People enjoyed what most pop songs would have edited out at the time. Personally, I'm a big fan of this underground artist named Willie Crooks, who intentionally clips his kicks. If you don't know, clipping is a type of distortion when the audio is too high for the system to handle, so it just cuts off. And usually it sounds terrible. Basically, this is what clipping is. Me talking really loud into the mic, see the audio clipped, and now it sounds shitty even if it's quiet. But in his music, I think he makes it sound kind of cool. Or even vocal imperfections, like when an artist's voice cracks or messes up, can sound good. It makes the music sound so much more human. And that video by Lachlan was great. However, I don't agree with all of his takes. For example, he said a lot of rap all sounds the same now.
Rap music, I would argue, is probably the biggest offender of this trend.
Really
The genre
is,
seems to
though.
have just...
It do kind of sound the same, I'm not gonna lie. That's why I had to slow down off of it, bro. It's just too much. Niggas just rapping about killing and dead ops and niggas they killed yesterday and all this crazy shit. Females. But now, I'm not gonna lie, say they don't make it sound good, but it's like, do I really want to listen to this all the time? No. Niggas ain't dropping pain music no more. It's getting out of hand. No More Love Music. The whole album is just filled with killing and niggas dying. Then you might hear like one love song. Had to balance it out.
Completely taken over by minimalistic trap beats and a hyper fixation on aesthetics. They're not really offering the listener anything other than some vibes. And look, I'm not saying that every rapper needs to be
vibe, really. It's just some real hype shit. Like the beat be going crazy. Just got my text back.
Nas or Pharoah Monch or whatever, but it almost feels like being able to actually rap or write good lyrics is now somehow cringe in modern rap. There was a time when sounding like another rapper was taboo. Now, most of these rappers sound the same, right? And again, that's not me being an old man yelling at clouds. Genuinely, a lot of these new rappers have the same flows, the same beats, the same subject matter, the same styles.
And I do agree with some of that. Like, they do have the same subjects. The same beats, though. No, I don't agree with that. The same flow is crazy. No. But not the same subjects? Yeah, they do. For sure.
Everything is the same.
And even though I disagree with that take, it's sort of an old head argument, and I think there's more diversity in rap than ever before. But I do think that rap is a big component of this dry spout we've been seeing lately. In fact, I just saw a headline that said, for the first time since February 1990, there are no rap songs charting inside the top 40 of the Billboard Hot 100. And apart from the Kendrick-Drake beef, there hasn't really been much exciting music in the mainstream rap. Remember, this video is about upper echelon mainstream. For a long time, rap hasn't had an artist break out into the mainstream, and most of the artists carrying the genre these days are the older artists. This is important because for a very long time, rap has been the biggest genre by market share in the mainstream. As of 2023, it still was, but I'm not quite sure where it's at today. Regardless, in 2025, the best-selling albums were Kendrick's GNX, Lil Baby's Wham, Tyler's Chromacopia and Don't Tap the Glass, Cardi's Music, Drake's Some Sexy Songs for You, and Big X The Plug's Take Care. Aside from half of these being released in
Nah. That album was tough. Take Care. He went crazy on that 2 a.m.
Forward, the only new artist on this list was Big X. It really feels like rap hasn't had any big newcomers in the last 3 years. And most of its newcomers who break through the mainstream have no staying power. Like Ice Spice, Roddy Ricch, Polo G, and a lot of these other artists. It's like, what are they doing today? Like they're not doing anything. And as a huge rap fan, please do not.
She just bought new views for her music video. Talking about she ain't doing that. You sound crazy as shit.
Wrong. I think rap has a ton of great music coming out every single week, month, day, year, but it's just not breaking through to the mainstream like I wish it would. For example, we got 2 Chainz and Larry June's album this year, Yeat's EP, the Until Japan album, JID dropped, Earl Sweatshirt, Freddie Gibbs put out a phenomenal project, and multiple others. But none of these are going super big in the mainstream like they may have a decade or so ago. So no, I don't think that people think lyrics and rap are cringe. I think there are different styles and scenes that are enjoyable for their own reasons, and both of which I believe can have longevity so long as the quality of the music is good. I think one of the biggest artists number-wise who blew up these past couple of years is Yeat, and even he hasn't had.
Do you know who to call if you're hurt in a car wreck?
It's a no-brainer. You call DM Law.
She didn't even say the word right. Shut the
Everybody
fuck
knows
up.
that.
When you get hurt in a car wreck, everybody
In a car wreck.
And had a big hit song or become a huge mainstream artist. And think about the big 3, Kendrick, Drake, and Cole. Like, there's nobody that comes to mind that can replace those 3 in terms of quality music as well as mainstream staying power. So of course, I'm not one of those old heads saying hip hop is dead, but it feels like it's just kind of in a dry period waiting for its next big era to come out, like maybe the SoundCloud era. And this has a big impact on the overall music industry as the biggest genre.
No, the next era that's gonna come out in hip hop is gonna be the AI era. It's gonna be the AI era.
Right now. With rap being in a dry spell, it feels like a lot of the music game is as well. However, another reason I think rap isn't being pushed as hard right now and pop music is getting simpler is because record labels know exactly what makes them money. and they are milking it. If you don't know, for the most part, there are 3 major labels that own pretty much every other record label. Those labels are Warner, Sony, and Universal. Also, by the way, I kind of want to make a video on how they created like a bit of a monopoly in the music industry, so if that's interesting, let me know if you want to see that. But unless you're listening to a pretty small artist or a big artist that is explicitly independent or on an indie label, they are at the thumb of these major labels. And major labels, especially when they have a large artist or an artist they're developing, they know how to make a hit. I made a video a while ago called Why Every Popular Song Sounds the Same. And of course that was an overgeneralization, but I'm going to play you a clip of that video to show you what I mean. Scientists have studied 464,000 songs and found that both melodies and sounds of instruments are becoming much more similar. Songs are also becoming shorter because of this, and streaming platforms are prioritizing those shorter songs, mainly because shorter songs are less likely to be skipped. In the past 2 decades, labels have even acquired...
I wouldn't skip a long one, but it has to be very good. Not even very good. It just has to be listenable. It can be long. 3 minutes, 4 minutes, that's cool. 5 minutes, you're pushing it, gang. Nigga went to the fucking studio and made a fucking YouTube video. What the hell are you doing, gang? This ain't it, bro. Oh, God.
Technology that they can use to analyze music and predict what songs will be hits. They can use services such as Hit Predictor or Shazam to see what songs will blow up. Apparently, Hit Predictor was able to predict 48 out of the top 50 radio hits in 2013. There are actually even entire companies such as Next Big Sound which are dedicated to analyzing music and finding the next big sound. And you're probably thinking that if labels keep pumping out this generic music, people will eventually get tired of it. And while that may be true for some people, science says it actually isn't for the majority. In a study done by Columbia University in 2006, they showed some people music websites with a bunch of songs and told them to download their favorites. Some sites had rankings of the most popular songs and some didn't. It showed that people who saw the rankings were more likely to download the popular songs. They then did a second experiment where they did the same thing, but this time they sent out websites with the actual download statistics and then some websites with fake download statistics. The experiment proved again that believing that a song is more popular made people more likely to download it. Another study done in 2011 shows that the brain produces dopamine when people hear songs that they have played and heard before. This video is almost 3 years old now, and it's more true than ever before. Also, by the way, I've been doing YouTube full-time for 3 years, so I just want to say thank you guys, because that's dope. But yeah, what I mentioned in that video I think explicitly speaks to what I'm talking about here. Record labels are intentionally, scientifically, carefully crafting the most cookie-cutter songs with elements from every hit to create new hits. And I think this shows in a lot of popular songs today. If we look at the biggest songs of the year so far, we have songs such as Ordinary by Alex Warren, Beautiful Things by Benson Boone, Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, and more. And these songs aren't bad by any means, but there's just nothing special about them. They're just pretty ordinary. Also, I'm excluding Pink Pony Club and Birds of a Feather because I actually really like those songs. But if we're being honest, Birds of a Feather probably isn't all that special either. On top of all this though, not only are labels pushing for these cookie cutter songs, but now they are straight up nostalgia baiting. What I'm about to tell you is kind of crazy, but you know how they have writing camps in the music industry? If not, it's basically where music industry people get a bunch of songwriters together, maybe looking to sell these songs to certain artists or asking the writers to write a certain type of vibe song, like write a love song. But now they have camps that are specifically asking writers to write songs using interpolations. I found this out when making my previous video called The Art of Stealing Music Legally. Interpolating is basically borrowing and repurposing a melody, somewhat similar to sampling. Then once these new songs that interpolate old songs are written, they're sold to artists throughout the industry, which is just insane to think about, that there are songwriting camps that instead of writing entirely new songs, are just remixing old ones for artists to take advantage of this trend. And it's so
I don't see the problem with that, though. Yeah, that motherfucker hit. Oh, God.
successful because it plays on familiar melodies that labels and artists already know people like, repackaging them to a newer generation. Like I said, I did a whole video on interpolation, but it is truly fascinating. So clearly labels are meticulously crafting songs either based in nostalgia or data, which is what is resulting in things like songs sticking on Billboard for so long. Again, Billboard had to change their rules because these songs they're just stuck up on the charts for so long because nothing new is coming in and replacing them. That's how boring this year's been. Like I mentioned earlier, the biggest selling rap albums this year half of them are from last year. Like 2025 just feels like it's been a dud. And labels are also investing heavily into artists that play it super safe. For example, two of the biggest artists right now, Taylor Swift and Morgan Wallen, just put out some pretty big bloated bland albums. The 3Bs, if you will. Morgan in particular put out an album with 37
You have it listened,
I know you.
you type it in, and then you go digging.
7 songs, many of which were pretty bland, average, boring country songs. And don't get me wrong, it's not bad, it's just underwhelming. Regardless, he was able to break records thanks to this album. On the flip side, Taylor Swift just put out her album with less songs, but she spam released 34 different versions of this album, and this resulted, of course, in her breaking a record for album sales, despite it being an album that many thought was bad or boring. The point is, neither of these two albums produced a hit that we all know and love, and maybe you do, but do all of us? Are we all singing it at school, or with our friends in the car, or at the bar, or wherever? I don't think so. But this music, despite how boring or bland many may think it is still widely appealing and prints money for both the artist and the record labels. It's like the music industry version of a content farm. Don't get me wrong, again, there are still innovators and exciting artists in pop music, but a lot of it is bloated, bland, and boring. The 3Bs. However, I think this is bigger than music. Apart from just the record labels causing problems, I feel like society as a whole may have an issue as well. There are more genres and even more music out now than ever before. Thanks to the internet and progressions in technology, there is a sound for everyone out there. But back in the day, all the music you had access to was what was in the record stores or CD shops. So chances were
the shit that was on TV. I remember they used to have TV shows that didn't do nothing but play music all day. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this?
Much more likely to be listening to more similar music as your peers. Nowadays, though, everyone is so hyper-individualized. There are hundreds of different scenes in different genres, in different pockets of different communities. This is, of course, a great thing that people can enjoy their niche of music easier than ever before, but it's also contributed to a lack of community across society. There isn't a monoculture like there used to be. Monoculture is a concept in pop culture studies in which facets of popular culture are experienced by everyone at once, either globally or nationally. This isn't a widely accepted term in the sociology world, but I feel like it's pretty fitting. And many in the sociology world argue that monoculture ended by the 21st century, mainly toward the end of the 2010s, due to the rise of streaming media and the fracturing of popular culture. Patrick CC touched on this in his video titled The Death of Mainstream, which I think is very applicable here. Not only do we have infinite music to choose from, but we have so many things to entertain us and occupy our time. Amazing YouTube videos like this one, tons of shows and movies, and of course the lovely short form content that you can effortlessly scroll for hours. And an article by Vox, the writer said, "We're in the midst of the streaming wars, with so many different media products and platforms competing."
Alright, y'all, that's the end of the video, bro. We pretty much heard all we needed to hear out of this. I'm gonna talk to y'all niggas later. Yeah.